What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. This is actually my second time trying to record this because unfortunately, unfortunately the first recording of this video kind of got corrupted for some reason. So I'm gonna try this again. But I do want to let you guys know that we are 234 subs away from hitting 500 subs. And as I've said in previous videos, if the channel gets to 500, I will open up this Korean LOB box that I got from my partners over at Collector Store. Be sure to check them out. Link and address will be in the description below. However, if the channel gets to 1,000 subs, you guys already know, first Ed 2 Chaos box is gonna be opened. Is gonna be incredible. And on that note, if you guys are watching the content, you like the content, and you want more of the content, but you guys have not subscribed as of yet, then make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, smash that thumbs up button on this video, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It'll also be in the description as well. And I want you guys to post in the comments below answering the question of the day, which basically is this week's episode of WWE's Biggest Issue. But the question of the day is this: are you guys happy with NXT being on the CW? Let me know down in the comments below. And apparently people are saying that NXT's move to the CW might have been a mistake. And there's a lot there's a lot to talk about with this. So first of all, on last week's episode of NXT, on the premiere on the CW's premiere of NXT, it generated 895,000 viewers. Now that right there is about a 44% increase compared to 2 weeks ago on NXT's last episode on the USA Network, when it generated only 620,000. Now, while it is true that yes, this might have been a good thing, what about for the future? What's the next year or so going to be like? Think about this. SmackDown. When you look at SmackDown, and you look at some of the different some of the different networks that it was a part of. You look at their ratings. You look at UPN originally, because it was on UPN for quite a long time, for the latter part of 7 years, and that generated somewhere between 900,000 to well over like 1.3 mil. Excuse me, to like 1.3 million viewers. Which, to be fair, with the fact that SmackDown had been around for 7 years at this time, yeah, you know what? That seems pretty okay. Then it moves over to the CW for only a couple years, for only like 2 years or so, and they only generated somewhere between like 600,000 to like 1.1 million viewers. Then it went over to My Network TV for roughly about 2 years, and it was pretty much the same thing. Sci-Fi on the other hand, they generated at least 900,000 to well over like 1.5 million viewers. Then you look at when it was on USA Network, which was about which only lasted about 3 years. It only generates somewhere between 700,000 views to about to about one to about 1.4 mil, which compared to when it was on UPN, that's about like a 20%, maybe a 30% like decrease, if you will. Then of course, 5 years on Fox, first 7 months, it only generated it generated up to about 1.6 million views, and then once COVID had struck, and once fans were allowed back into the arenas, the viewership just kept going lower and lower and lower every single week. But the only reason why SmackDown thrived this entire year alone, especially when it was still on Fox, was mainly because of the fact that Triple H took over WWE as the head of creative, or the chief content officer of WWE. Cody Rhodes had finally finished the story, and also The Rock came back to pretty much work that whole story leading into WrestleMania Night 2 in Philly. Now it's part of the USA Network, and so far they've generated quite the interesting amount of views. But when you also look at Monday Night Raw, it's only been a part of only two networks, USA and Spike. That's it. Funny enough, when Raw was on the USA Network the first time around, all the way back in 1993, from that point up until the year 2000, it generated more than like 2.7 million views, up to about that. Then when it moved over to Spike TV, it generated, from 2000 to 2005, it generated somewhere between 950,000 to well over like 1.8 million viewers, which is about what a 48% decrease, if you will. Now it's been a part of the USA Network since October 3rd of 2005. So think about that. Almost 20 years. Literally just about 20 years. Which is amazing. And up until now, it's generated up to about 2.6 million, which is about, I would say it's roughly like about a 30 to 40% increase, if you will. And with Raw now being officially being moved over to Netflix at the beginning of the new year, it's gonna be interesting to see how many viewers they'll be able to generate. But what about NXT? Obviously it's gonna be very interesting to see if they will be able to generate that amount of views now that they're officially on the road, and of course on the CW. As I said earlier in this video, last week they generated 895,000 viewers, which is about a 44% increase compared to 2 weeks ago, when it only generated 620,000. But what about tomorrow night, and the week and next week, and the week after that, and the week after that, and the week after that? What about in about 7 months from now? What's gonna happen then? Well, obviously for tomorrow night, there's gonna be four massive matches happening tomorrow night. First off, Fatal Influence will be taking on the NXT Women's North American Champion Kalani Jordan and the current WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. We also have as well Axiom and Nathan Fraser defending their tag team titles against A-Town Down Under. Then of course we got Obafemi defending his North American title against Tony D'Angelo, and of course Javon Evans in a massive matchup against Randy Orton. But with what's been going on with Cody and with Cody Rhodes and the Bloodline and Kevin Owens and what Kevin did after Bad Blood went off the air, I can honestly say that SmackDown this Friday is going to be very interesting, to say the very least. But how many views will tomorrow night generate? Well, obviously ticket sales did not go as planned. They were supposed to have had an NXT live from the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, which is the same venue that Raw is being held in for tonight. And the thing is that now, because that ticket sales didn't go as planned, they were being forced to move it over to the factory in St. Louis, which is like just up the road from where the Enterprise Center is, and a lot can go wrong with tomorrow night. First off, last week's episode, in my opinion, was 100% predictable. We knew that Trick Williams was going to regain the NXT title. We knew that Roxanne Perez was going to find some way to cheese out a victory over Julia, which, funny enough, that way was Cora Jade making her comeback after almost a year. So again it was 100% predictable. Tomorrow night, I have a feeling tomorrow night is going to be just as predictable, because I have a feeling that Obafemi is going to retain his title. A-Town Down Under will once again lose a shot at becoming champions. It's just too predictable, and this is where it's going to be a big mistake. Not just on WWE's part, but also on the CW's part. And here's where it becomes the CW's fault. Those who live in the West Coast, like I do, are being forced to watch NXT at 8 p.m. Which for us the CW is literally on Channel 5, which is a local channel. Obviously we're not able to watch at 5 p.m. This will definitely force NXT to lose viewers over time, because the states that are here in the West Coast are I think Oregon, Washington, California, Arizona, and Nevada are the top states that are in the West Coast. Central would be more like Texas, North Dakota, South Dakota, and then obviously the East would be Florida, Georgia, Missouri, what have you. So for those who live in the West Coast like I do, because that they're being forced to watch at NXT at 8 p.m., this will show a decrease in viewers over time, and within about a year or so, this is gonna force the CW's hand And one of two things is gonna happen. Either A, they'll add a feature on their app where you can log your cable provider to the CW app, so you can actually watch it at 5 p.m. or or if the viewership goes lower than 600,000, this is gonna force their hand and potentially cut their ties with NXT, and WWE is gonna have to be forced to find a brand new network to air NXT. Honestly, they could potentially move it over to Netflix, but with Peacock's but with WWE's deal with Peacock gonna coming to an end in 2026, a lot can happen between now and then. One of the things that can happen is, again, as I stated, viewers going down, and the ratings will go down to the extent where the CW may not want to renew their deal with NXT, or they may just end up cutting their ties with them completely. So if NXT were to move over to Netflix, then ratings will go up potentially, and the amount of viewers will also go up as well. But obviously, but I think now the only way that people can watch at NXT live at 5 p.m. is if it's on like Hulu with live TV, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it as far as I know. But I could be wrong. If there is another way that I could watch it on a TV streaming app, then definitely let me know in the comments below. I might take it into consideration, but again, it's gonna be a massive mistake, and it's not gonna be pretty. Viewership will go down over time within the next year, and it might go down below 600,000, to where again the CW may end up cutting their ties with NXT, which could be a bad thing on WWE's part. But on that note, let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on this whole situation, and yeah, just let me know your thoughts on NXT being on the CW, and how long do you think it will last? Because I don't think it's gonna last that long. I mean, if it lasts the whole 5 years, I will be fairly surprised, but I don't think it will. But let me know down in the comments below, and that'll do it for this week's episode of WWE's Biggest Issue. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue in the future, then make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and follow me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.